Hi again. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're a first time here, welcome. I'm glad you could stop by and hear a little bit about how I shifted my mindset about abundance and money and how that helped me level up at different times in my life. And as titled by the video, I wanted to tell you the one thing I want you to never ever say again. I stopped saying this probably early 2000s, and it really did make a big difference. And that is, I am broke. Never say it again. Just remove it from your vocabulary. We're going to replace it. I'm going to give you some things that we say. And to be honest, we haven't been broke in a really long time. So it works. So there. But no, today I wanted to share kind of things to stop saying, things, what you can say instead. And this will help you shift your mindset about money, because if you stop, the more you replace kind of the negative voice in your head or the negative thoughts, the more the good thoughts and those things take their place. So, and also I wanted to kind of share a story about that reminded me of when I made that shift in my mindset. And I wanted to kind of tell you a little bit about where we were and to give you, the specifics on the big jumps we made. So back to what not to say. So back when I finally learned how to get really good at budgeting, we wouldn't say, like when my daughter would ask for things, it's like we would say, no, it's not in the budget. Or for other people outside, like at work, like if they, people always went to lunch. And so eventually we learned to kind of budget in being able to go to lunch once or twice a week. But initially it would be like, oh, I can't, I'm on a diet, I'm eating, specific food, or I brought my lunch today, maybe next time. And you don't need to put the weight of when you say like I'm broke or whatever, you're putting pressure on the other person to either, offer to pay for lunch for you, or you're also kind of blasting them with that like negative energy of desperation. So we want to stop doing that. We want to there's kind of a philosophy, I've heard it from several people, from Tony Robbins to Wayne Dyer, that you attract what you are. So once you start kind of changing that vibration from desperation and poverty and lack to I'm worthy of those things, I attract those things, I am those things start finding you and start coming to you. And it's like a story I shared in a different video about how, my intention was to have a donut and hot chocolate for breakfast. So from somebody who had no way of making money, of making an income, I was like 10 years old, I attracted that money. So money would show up in different ways, and from finding it on the ground on the way to school to, people just giving me money or getting paid for doing favors for people. Like my brothers or sisters, like, my sister would pay me $1 to go get her ice from downstairs. And, things like that. So you want to start looking for examples in your life of when you got, you had like unexpected good luck, unexpected money, how money keeps showing up. It's like you want to start keeping those things at the forefront of your thoughts. And one story, I think the guy's name is Joseph Murphy. A video just kind of auto-played for me on YouTube. I've really got to turn that feature off someday. But he was talking about this woman was really kind of desperate situation, was down to her last $5. But instead of being in that panic, desperation mode, she kind of said a prayer and she just stuck with it, and she, stayed with it where, her prayer was basically, the Lord, provides me with everything I need. I'm, abundant and taken care of. And I don't remember his exact words, but when you get in that vibration, one, it gets you out of that stress anxiety vibration, which is also kind of when you're in panic, you can't, it's hard to see the good and it's hard to make good decisions. But as you're changing that mindset, but when you get into a more peaceful, kind of good vibration, you start to see opportunities and you start to see solutions, and you start, where, I'll just give a more recent example before I go into my old story. So almost 2 years ago, my husband lost his job. We were totally blindsided. I talk about this a lot because it's so fresh in my memory. And I remember my first thought was like, that's not possible. They can't do that to you. And, it was like such a panic desperation. And I was so frozen for a minute. And then I just kind of said, okay, what can I do to help? What are things within my power that I can do to help our situation right now? So I went on LinkedIn. I kind of shared the news, and a recruiter that I had worked with previously, really awesome person, really great guy, reached out to me. And a couple of other recruiters did, and a couple of recruiters on in his network reached out to him. But the one that reached out to me first ended up being the one that placed Daniel in the first job he got, which was a contract position that he was in for a little over a month, until he found a permanent position. But in kind of letting go of the panic, centering myself, and kind of getting more in that positive mindset, I was able to think of actions I could take immediately to help our situation. I'm not saying it was all me. Daniel has such a great work ethic and hustle, and I always feel like good things are attracted to him because he always has the right mindset. So now I want to take you back about 23 years to the year 2000. And from the time we were married and through the military, and we got out and we came down to Dallas to go to college, we really struggled with money. So even when we were making around $50,000 a year, both being in the military, being E4s, I had such a hard time struggling with not being poor. I couldn't balance a checkbook. I didn't know how to budget properly. I had no control over money. And through watching, in the year 2000, Daniel finally had been at a job long enough that he was making enough money to cover all our bills. So I was able to quit the job that I hated, which was being a waitress at Chili's. And it was definitely so outside my comfort zone, and I really didn't like doing it. I really hated it. And I look back now, and I have so many fond memories of my time at Chili's. And I keep telling my daughter whenever she complains about being broke, I'm like, go wait tables. That's one of the fastest jobs to get and fastest ways to make money. And that's never going to happen. She just refuses to take our advice. So anyway, when I was able to quit working, I was still in school, so we still had my daughter Victoria in daycare. So after school, our school day ended at approximately 1 p.m. We would pick her up, and then I would stay home, and Daniel went to work, I think, around 3 o'clock, so he would leave around 2:30 to get to work. And he had the 3 to 11 shift. It was kind of a help desk position. So I was watching a lot of Oprah in the afternoons, and I started working on myself. Different people inspired me to kind of change my mindset And they started to have an effect on my belief system, where for a long time, I felt like the only way I could ever become rich is by winning the lottery. Or some person was going to have to give it to me out of the goodness of their heart, for heaven knows why. So I had a really hard time accepting that I could make more money, and I wanted to be, my dream then was to be upper middle income. So middle income at the time was around $40,000. So because we were in college, our target was to hit 100,000. But because of some of the shifts and change in the dot-com bubble bursting around the time that we graduated, we made less. So I'm just going to kind of stair step you through our income changes, just to kind of help you see that see the direct correlation between our mindset shifting. Because from being in college, it's like, and the people that we were surrounded by in our families, the only way to make more money was to go to college, get a degree, and then they would pay you more in the workforce. And we chose IT for our careers. So Daniel was making approximately $30K with overtime, working at help desk for one of the call centers here in Dallas for one of the big computer makers. Which I guess I can say now, it was Dell. Back then, for a long time, we couldn't say who it was publicly because of NDA agreements and whatnot, but that was 20-something years ago. The company he worked for is out of business. Dell is kind of a different monster these days. And they're not a monster. They're a different company. It's just their business model has changed in so many ways. They do a lot of different things. So I'm pretty sure they're not worried about people knowing they contract out their tech support. So we went from $30K. He took his first corporate job with a company that supplied support to one of the airlines, or did some of the software for the airlines. And he started out making $44,000. And then I got my first job. So that was in November. I got my first job before I graduated at a little web development company for $27K, which was really low. But I lost that job, went to work for a car dealership just after I graduated for $31K. And after having taken that job and it going and being fired, I was really in a kind of, had low self-esteem at the time, where I didn't feel like I was worth very much, and that I was just never going to get a good job. So in 3 days, I went from making $27K, from being fired, $27K, to being fired, to having a new job, making $31K, where I went and I built this car dealership, their website, put their car inventory online, which was like a thing that hadn't been done. I launched their website in 2 weeks. I'm really proud of what I did there. Had them set up so that they could get leads online. This was very brand new. They didn't have all the software and services that they have now for dealerships. So 2 months into that, I finally got a call back from an interview I'd done before I lost my job, because I wasn't happy there and I wasn't learning, growing. I was just, and they were starting to struggle financially. So I went to a job fair at my college. I went to DeVry, gave somebody my resume. I think I did an interview after I'd taken the job with the dealership. Didn't hear from them for like over a month. I was like, obviously I didn't get it. Got the offer. And so I went from $27K to $31K, and then I got my offer for $42,000. So in a year's time, we went from $30K to $86K. And part of that was believing, you know, we missed our mark of, you know, our ideal target. And I felt like the only way I could get the type of house I wanted, which at the time my target house was like 200K. It was these brand new houses being built around our area in DFW. And it was like the only way I can get into a house is for us to be making 100K. So we had made it to 86K, so we didn't quite hit our target, but that's a $56,000 a year jump. You know, that made a huge difference. And even there's still I still had some struggle in the following years, and I'll share those stories in other videos, but I just wanted you to see that as you kind of shift your mindset, you may not make it to $1 million right away. So it's okay to stair step it, to level up a little bit at a time. And I just, I was reminded of this recently in different events happening in my life. So I just wanted to share my story with you. And if you stayed this long, thank you so much. Please leave a comment on, you know, if you want to share part of your story with me, or if there's anything you liked in my story that really resonated with you, you know, I'd love to hear about it. And if you like this video, my channel is super tiny right now, and I say a lot, but I'm taking you on this journey with me as I get better, as I share more. And there's something I shared. This is what I want to share in the thumbnail, and I just wanted to speak to it real quick. So I had this board, and I kind of redid it to kind of focus more on the things that bring me joy, that make me happy. So I'm just going to explain it real quick. This dollar came in the mail a couple years ago to fill out a survey, which was like they're trying to bribe us that, hey, we'll give you $1, can you fill out this survey? And I went ahead and do it since they gave me $1, and I figured no one else would. These are Disney. I want to go again. These are pictures I took. So this is my reminder that I can achieve this. These are tangible things. This is a reminder that abundance is with me always. And then this was a magnet we bought in Las Vegas, and I just love it. And the $100 bill always makes me feel rich. I don't know why. It's like, so I keep this as just a little reminder. It makes me happy. And the butterflies are my sign from Gabby. So, and just things, these are things that, and I'll share with you. This is my main affirmation. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm not as far as I feel some days. But it is, I'm a happy, healthy, spiritual multimillionaire. And this part I've been working on for a lot of years, trying to figure out what I want to do, and just a lot of things lately have been coming together, telling me this is what I'm meant to do. I help thousands of people level up by changing their abundance mindset. So I hope you like this video. I hope you'll like and share. And thank you so much for being here. I'll see you next time.